This episode of the Lunch with Chris show is brought to you by my upcoming book, 30 Days to Limitless. You can find out more about it at limitless30.com.
This podcast is certified fresh. Freshmediaworks.com.
Welcome to the Lunch with Chris show, where your host, Chris Daly, talks with movers and shakers from all walks of life to get their opinions on important questions. Each season there is a new question and new guests. This short, impactful show skips all the fluff and just brings you insightful answers from great guests. And now, doing his part to change the world in a positive way, your host, Chris Daly.
My guest today is a young lady who has big plans and is working hard already to make them happen. This is Tabree Houston. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Tabree Houston to the show. Tabree, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. So I met you around town, a couple different places. You are one of the outdoor things at a place called Mother Clucker's, then met you at a coffee networking thing. And I'm intrigued by your story. But before we get into all the cool stuff you're doing now, take me back to where you grew up.
So I am born and raised from here in Victoria, Texas. I grew up in South Victoria, I guess you could say. I've been all over the place. I went to school at a couple different elementary schools. I went to middle school at Patty Welder, and I went to high school at Victoria West.
Nice. And so how did you get into the Miss Curve stuff? What is that about? That's the first I had ever heard it.
So Miss Curve Texas, through the Regency International Pageant Organization, I initially started doing pageants because I met a friend at a pageant. I teach Sunday school, and I was supporting one of my students, and just so happened to see an old friend, and she was like, "Hey, you should try beauty pageants." And I was like, "That's funny. No, I'm okay." And then just through a couple of conversations, ended up doing the first pageant, which was back in February, the Texas State Pageant for Regency International. And there's different divisions, so women are allowed to compete where they compare. So instead of me going up against a size 0, I'm a size 22 competing against girls that range from a size 14 wide all the way up.
Okay. So I guess what is the drive or mission behind the organization? Because, traditionally when you think of pageants, you think of the uber skinny, you please eat a hamburger kind of people.
Yes. So the point of these beauty pageants are to promote confidence in young women and even women of older age, but just to promote confidence and getting into the community and helping your community and pushing and drive and giving a community of those things. Pageants have changed from the traditional that we used to see to what they're becoming now, where they're more inclusive of different sizes and different shapes and promoting all types of body types and allowing these women to truly express themselves.
Nice. And have you seen any pushback from it, from traditional?
Well, this is my first pageant organization that I've worked with personally, but my little sister is currently doing the Miss Victoria pageant this summer, and she is 11 years old and full-figured. So I guess we'll see kind of how that works out and how it plays out throughout this summer. but this is my first international pageant. So I'll be going to Las Vegas competing against girls from Australia and from the UK and all over the world. So I'll really get to see the real pageant experience this summer.
Nice. And so how long has this organization been around?
I am not too sure. I know for the curve division, they've had a curve division. I believe this will be the 4th year.
Okay.
I don't know how long the pageant organization has been around as a whole.
Nice. And when you say you're competing against people from around the world, Australia, et cetera, how many do you think will be there in attendance in Vegas?
So in the curve division alone, I believe right now there are about 8 of us, but registration still hasn't stopped. But I know throughout the other divisions, there are so many girls. I know the team from the UK alone has about 14 girls that are traveling. The Texas team, I believe we have about 24 as well. So across all divisions, there should be about 200 girls that are competing.
Excellent, excellent. And like I said, I've seen you around town a couple places, and you're wearing your sash saying Ms. Curve. I assume that's a conversation starter, right?
It is. Something that I've learned through this pageant journey is people tend to hear you a little bit louder when you have a crown on. It sparks conversation. It sparks questions because people want to know, well, what does this mean? Where does this come from? And it gives me a chance to talk about my platform and kind of what I'm trying to do here in Victoria, which my platform is called Yes, I Have, which stands for Yes, I Have a Voice for Empowerment. So it's teaching young women and young adults how to use their voice, because so many times we're told we're meant to be seen and not heard, and teaching them that what you have to say matters. But it's not just about what you're saying, but it's who you're saying it to. Because if I have $1 million idea, but I tell it to someone who's homeless on the side of the street, did I really try to make an impact with that idea? So helping them to understand they have to get into certain rooms and places to make their idea known to the people who can help change.
Nice. So my takeaway there is get myself a crown, and I'll be able to tell people about how podcasting is so important.
I think that would really help, because people would ask you, why do you have a crown on? And then it would open the door to tell them about all your podcasting.
I love it. I love it. So talk to me about the Yes, I Have movement. What exactly is that?
So I am planning different workshops, because creativity and artisticness, it's very important in our new generation with this technology era and all of the things that are going around. Whenever I was younger, I was told a lot of, well, let's be realistic. What do you really want to do? That's not something that's able to make money. And now I see all of these young people who have parents who are pushing them towards creativity and opening their minds. But there are still some kids out there who they don't have that same support. So it's helping them find environments where they have support. I had a 16-year-old girl who told me that her parents said that there was no money in video game design. She really wanted to create video games and help people that way. And I told her, I was like, do you know, like, the metaverse is a whole thing. Like, that is nothing but artificial intelligence, and video games are something that are going to continue to grow. So it's getting these kids and teaching them how to work with creative writing, how to use their artistic skills, how fashion design helps, all of the artistic things, but creating a safe place for them to ask questions and to teach them all of these things.
I love that. And in fact, you know, one fact I heard not too long ago was the video game industry is double the movie and music industry combined.
Oh, wow. That's
so
really amazing.
There's money in it. So for companies like mine that do creative things like podcasting, How can we get involved in the Yes I Have movement? And because that's so powerful, that next generation of creators.
So right now I am working on setting up a kind of a weekend workshop, not for this year because I want to take enough time to plan it out and make sure that all of the pieces fit and everything flows. But I'm looking at next August, after school lets out, after this next school year, to invite all sorts of creatives to speak to these kids, these young adults, and kind of talk to them a little bit about what they do, the different expertises that they have, how they can get involved, where they started, and the real realities of these things. I'm about to set up the full email and web page and all of the things to kind of get people to really see that this is a real movement and it's something that we're really trying to make happen. And we're going to start here in Victoria. I feel like so many people want to branch out first, but I want to take care of my hometown. I want to take care of all of the young people that we have here and show them that you don't have to leave Victoria for all of these amazing things that you want to do, that Victoria would be a great headquarters for all of the great things. And I think that's really what Innovation Collective is doing, is showing people that Victoria is a wonderful place. And there's so much change that's happening over these last couple of months even, that this is a great place to start.
Right on, right on. And for my national and international listeners, that's Victoria, Texas we're talking about.
Yes, sir, Victoria, Texas.
Excellent. And so let's say some young person is listening to this and they're like, well, how do I get involved? What's the answer there?
If you are in Victoria, or even if you're anywhere, write your idea down. Write down what you want to do, the people you want to help, and be very specific. And then go to someone that you can trust, go to a leader of schools or of your community and have a conversation with them. A lot of things that I'm having to do right now, I'm having to teach myself. So the internet has become one of my best friends, but if I could find enough people that are willing to share their wisdom and guidance, find someone who's willing to pour into you, seek out for a mentor, and then begin there.
I love that. And I want to second that, saying that what I discovered early on in the days of the internet is that no matter how rich, how famous, how powerful somebody is, they're people. And that's it. You get in front of them and appeal to them as a human, and you'll be surprised. You'll get some amazing response.
I think that's one thing that I've learned in these last couple years is we put people on such high pedestals whenever they're human just like us. They go through the same heartbreaks. They go through the same failures. It's all about how you get up. You're going to fall. Are you going to take it as a learning lesson, or are you going to just sit there and wallow in it?
I love that. And Tabree, so how can people follow your story? Where are you online?
So I am on Facebook under Tabree Nashay. It's Tabree, Nashay, Nashay. I am on Instagram at misscurve.tx. I'm just trying to make a change. If I can change the life of one person, then the exponential change from that will be exceedingly more than I can imagine.
Well, I will tell you, you've already changed one person because of you. I have a great interview.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Cool. I will put all your information out there in the show notes and share it with people. Any closing thoughts?
Just remember that it's not always people have their hand out. Sometimes they just need a hand up. So always be sure to pull someone up out of the mess that they're in, because you never know when you'll be in that situation.
Cool. Tabree, thank you so much for sitting down with me and sharing some of your story. You're definitely an everyday hero.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, Chris.